You can tell a lot about a man not by what he says, but by how he greets the woman he loves. Think about it. That first moment when he sees her reveals everything. Respect, admiration, joy. Love isn't always in the grand gestures, it's in the small everyday ones. Today, I'm going to break down exactly how a man greets a woman when his love is real, and how you can spot the difference. You know what's interesting? You can't fake joy. You can try to fake interest, you can fake politeness, you can even fake enthusiasm for a short time, but real joy, that natural spark, it just can't be forced. And that's why when a man is truly in love, the very first giveaway is his smile when he sees her. It's not rehearsed. It's not staged. It's almost like his whole body reacts before his mind even catches up. Think about it. You've seen people smile out of habit. The little half smile you give to a coworker in the hallway, or the polite grin when someone holds the door. That's surface level. But when a man is in love, his smile looks different. His eyes crinkle, the muscles in his face soften, and it happens so instantly it feels almost involuntary. That's the kind of smile that comes from the inside out, and that's the first sign that his feelings run deep. Now here's the thing, this isn't about being perfect or being some Hollywood version of romance. This is about authenticity. A man who's in love doesn't have to remind himself, oh, I should smile at her. No, it just happens. The second she walks in the room, it's like his whole mood lifts. He could have had the worst day, his schedule could be a mess, but when she appears, boom, that natural joy breaks through. And that right there is love in its purest form, not escaping reality, but finding light even in the middle of it. And women notice this. Don't underestimate that. She doesn't just see the smile, she feels it, because a genuine smile changes the atmosphere. It tells her, you matter. You brighten my world. I'm glad you're here. And when that's consistent, when it's not just at the beginning but continues over time, she feels safe in it. She feels chosen. She feels cherished. Here's the contrast when a man isn't really invested. His greeting looks different. It's distracted. It's routine. Maybe the corners of his lips pull up, but his eyes are still on his phone. Maybe he says, hey, out of habit, but there's no life in it. It feels mechanical, like a box he's checking. And deep down, people can feel that. You can't fake genuine presence, and you can't hide when it's missing. But the man who's truly in love doesn't treat her arrival like background noise. He treats it like the highlight of his day. He doesn't just smile because she showed up. He smiles because she showed up to him. And that difference, that's everything. Because it means she's not just someone in his life, she's the person who brings his life into focus. Think about the power in that. A smile may look small, but it's a massive signal. It's the unspoken language of the heart. That's why the very first way you can spot a man in love is in that split second reaction when she appears. If his whole face lights up like the sun just came out, that's not just a smile. That's love written across his face without a single word spoken. That kind of smile doesn't lie. They say the eyes never lie, and I believe that's true. Because long before the words come out, long before the smile even settles in, the eyes are already speaking. When a man is truly in love, you can see it there first. It's almost like his eyes give him away before he even realizes what he's doing. They light up, they soften, they hold. And that's because the eyes don't just see someone, they reflect how deeply that person means to you. Think about how we normally look at people in our day. We glance, we scan, we move on. Most of the time, our eyes are searching for the next thing, the next task, the next distraction. But when a man is in love, the moment he sees her, his eyes stop searching. They settle. They lock in. It's like everything else in the room goes blurry, and she's the only one in focus. That's not just attraction. That's not just noticing beauty. That's love revealing itself through attention, and attention is powerful. Because love is really about where you put your presence. A man who's not fully in it might let his gaze drift. He might look at her, but then check his phone, glance around, let his eyes dart somewhere else. That's a sign of distraction, of habit, of comfort without connection. But a man who is truly in love gives her something most people are starving for in this world: undivided attention. His eyes are saying, "You matter enough to hold my full focus." There's another layer to this too. When a man is genuinely in love, his eyes don't just look at her, they look into her. And by that I mean he's not just admiring her appearance, he's taking in her presence. He's soaking in her mood, her energy, her expression. His gaze becomes a way of reading her heart, not just watching her face. That's why so many women say they can feel when a man is truly seeing them. Because it's not a stare, it's not surface, it's connection. And this is why women can tell instantly if something's missing. Because if a man greets her and his eyes are flat, distant, or quick to move away, she feels the gap. She feels the absence of that warmth. You can say all the right words, you can even smile, but if the eyes aren't alive, it doesn't land. That's the truth. We listen with our ears, but we believe with our eyes. What makes this even more powerful is consistency. Because anyone can look at someone with intensity for a week, maybe even a month. But a man who's truly in love keeps that spark alive in his gaze years later. His eyes don't stop lighting up when she enters the room. They don't stop softening when she's near. That's not infatuation, that's devotion. That's a love that keeps choosing, keeps seeing, keeps valuing. So if you really want to know how a man feels about a woman, watch his eyes when she shows up. Not when it's convenient, not when he's trying to impress, but in the unguarded, everyday moments. Because when his eyes carry that quiet glow, when they lock in like she's the best thing that just happened to him, that's not performance, that's truth. And that kind of look, that's love looking back at her. The body has a way of telling the truth long before the mouth opens. You don't even need words to know how someone feels. You can watch how they stand, how they lean, how they move. And when a man is in love, you can see it in his body language the second he greets her. It's not stiff, it's not closed off, it's not guarded. His whole presence shifts toward her like his body knows where it belongs. Pay attention to the little things. A man who's truly invested doesn't keep his arms crossed when she walks in. He doesn't stay slouched back like he's indifferent. Instead, his posture straightens, his chest opens, and his shoulders turn fully in her direction. That's his way of saying, without words, "You have my full attention, I'm here with you, not just around you." And that's a powerful thing, because body language speaks louder than any hello ever could. Even the way he leans matters. Think about it. When we're interested in someone, when we're drawn to them, our body naturally leans forward. We close the space. When we're not interested, we lean away, we create distance, we angle ourselves out. Love pulls a man in without him even realizing it. He doesn't just face her halfway, he turns completely, sometimes even stepping closer, like his body can't help but match what his heart feels. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You can fake words, and sometimes you can even fake a smile. But body language, that's almost impossible to fake over time. If he's not really in it, the signals will show. Maybe his feet point toward the exit. Maybe his arms stay tucked tight to his body. Maybe he gives her a side hug that feels more like a formality than a welcome. Those little cues reveal whether he's just showing up or fully engaged. But when he's truly in love, his body tells on him. The hug lingers. His arm naturally finds its way around her, not to control her, but to connect with her. His movements soften. He's not stiff, he's not calculating, he's comfortable, because being near her feels like the most natural thing in the world. You'll notice he doesn't just acknowledge her presence, he embraces it, literally and figuratively. And it's not about being dramatic. It's not about big romantic gestures every time he sees her. It's about consistency in the small things. Maybe he instinctively reaches to hold her hand when they're walking. Maybe he angles his body closer during a conversation in a crowded room. Maybe when she enters, his entire stance opens up like he's welcoming her into his space, into his world. Those subtle actions send a clear message. You're not just someone I see, you're someone I choose to be close to. The beautiful thing about body language is that it bypasses performance. It's not polished. It's not rehearsed. It's raw. And that's why it's so telling. Because the man who is truly in love doesn't have to think about how to greet her. His body answers for him. The lean, the turn, the embrace, those are the unspoken ways his heart steps forward first. So if you really want to know how much a man cares, don't just listen to his words. Watch his posture. Watch his presence. Watch the way his body moves when she arrives. Because love doesn't just show up in what you say, it shows up in how every part of you leans toward the one you love. You can tell a lot about a man by the way he says a simple hello. Most people don't think about it, but tone carries more weight than words. Two people can say the exact same thing, and it can land in completely different ways depending on how it sounds. When a man is truly in love, his voice changes the second he greets her. It softens. It slows down. It takes on a warmth that doesn't show up anywhere else in his day. Think about how men usually speak throughout their routines. At work, his tone might be sharp, quick, to the point, because that's what the environment calls for. With friends, maybe it's louder, more playful, a little rough around the edges. But when he sees the woman he loves, all of that fades. He doesn't talk to her the way he talks at the world. He talks to her with a gentleness that makes her feel safe. That shift is subtle, but it's powerful. It's not about sounding romantic or rehearsed or overly sweet. It's about the calm that comes over him when she's near. He doesn't rush his words like he's checking off a box. He takes his time like that moment matters. And that's because, to him it does. His tone communicates something his words never could. You're not just another part of my day. You are the best part of my day. Contrast that with a man who's not invested. His greeting might be flat, rushed, maybe even distracted, like his mind is somewhere else. You know that, hey, you throw out when you're not really paying attention. That's how it feels. And women pick up on that instantly because tone doesn't lie. You can say the sweetest sentence, but if your tone is cold or careless, the message won't land. But when the tone shifts, everything shifts. The moment his voice softens, it puts her at ease. It tells her she doesn't need to perform, she doesn't need to fight for space, she's already welcome. That's why a warm tone is so important. It's not just about communication, it's about connection. It creates an atmosphere where love can actually be felt, not just assumed. And here's what makes it so genuine. He doesn't even think about doing it. He doesn't plan to change his tone, it just happens. That's the thing about love. It changes the way you sound without you trying. Because when someone truly matters to you, your entire presence adjusts. Your volume lowers, your pace steadies, your words stretch out just a little longer. Not because you're trying to impress, but because you're trying to savor. Now imagine how it feels for her. To walk into a room and hear his voice soften, almost like he's exhaling a little relief that she's finally there. That moment tells her everything she needs to know about where she stands in his heart. She doesn't have to guess. She doesn't have to dig. The affection is baked right into the sound of his voice. That's why I always say love isn't proven in the big speeches. It's proven in the little moments. In the everyday hello, in the way his tone changes without effort. That's the kind of greeting that can't be faked, can't be taught, can't be borrowed from someone else. It only comes from one place, a heart that's already decided she matters. And when his voice carries that kind of warmth, it's not just a greeting anymore, it's a promise. Touch is one of those things we don't often think about until it's missing. But the truth is, touch is one of the clearest windows into love. It doesn't have to be big or dramatic. It can be as small as a hand on her shoulder or the brush of fingers when passing by. When a man is truly in love, his instinct is to reach for her in those little moments, to connect in a way that words never could. Notice how natural it is. He doesn't pause to plan it. He doesn't make a scene out of it. His hand just finds hers when they're walking. His arm automatically rests around her when they sit down together. Even the smallest gestures, like guiding her gently through a crowd with his hand on her back, speak volumes. That's not performance. That's his love expressing itself through presence. And here's what makes it powerful. It's not about possession, it's about protection and connection. There's a huge difference. Possession grabs. Possession clings. But love offers touch that reassures, that steadies, that anchors. It's a touch that says, "You're safe with me. I want you close, not because I need to control you, but because this is where you belong." That's the kind of physical connection that builds trust over time. Contrast that with a man who isn't invested. His touch, if it happens, feels either absent or performative. Maybe he avoids it altogether, keeping a noticeable distance. Or maybe when he does reach for her, it's inconsistent, lacking warmth, almost like he's going through the motions. And she feels that difference instantly. Touch carries intention, and when intention is missing, the action feels hollow. But the man who's truly in love doesn't treat touch like an afterthought. For him, it's instinctive. It's a way of grounding himself in the relationship and grounding her in the moment. And what's beautiful is that these little touches add up. A hug at the door, a kiss on the forehead, his hand brushing away her hair. It creates an environment where she doesn't just hear she's loved, she feels it. And let's be honest, life is busy, stressful, unpredictable. But love shows up in those in-between spaces. Even in the chaos, he still finds her hand. Even when he's tired, he still pulls her close. Those gestures say, "Even when everything else is loud, you are still my calm." That's why a man's touch when he's in love feels so different. It's not about routine. It's not about obligation. It's about choosing her again and again in the smallest of ways. Over time, this consistency becomes one of the most secure parts of the relationship. Because when touch is steady, it builds safety. She doesn't wonder where she stands because his actions already confirm it. And safety, in turn, deepens intimacy. It allows her to relax into the relationship, knowing she's not just being told she's loved, but shown she's loved every single day. And that's the beauty of it. Love isn't always loud. It isn't always on display for the world to see. Sometimes it's just in the quiet reach of a hand, the gentle brush of an arm, the warmth of a hug that says, without words, "I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere." That kind of touch doesn't just connect skin to skin. It connects heart to heart. Here's the real test of love: consistency. Anyone can show excitement in the beginning. Anyone can smile big on the first date, look deeply into your eyes in the honeymoon phase, lean in with eager body language, soften their tone, and reach for your hand like they'll never let go. That's easy when it's all new, when the emotions are fresh, when the thrill of discovery fuels every interaction. But real love, the kind that lasts, is proven in the way a man continues to greet the woman he loves after the newness has faded. Pay attention to how he shows up, not just in the highlight moments, but in the everyday ones. When months turn into years, does he still light up when she walks into the room? Does he still shift his body toward her, reach for her hand, soften his voice? Because that consistency isn't about habit, it's about commitment, it's about a choice he keeps making. See, love isn't just a feeling. Feelings rise and fall. They get affected by stress, by work, by life. But love is a decision that shows up the same way on day 1000 as it did on day 1. A man who is truly in love doesn't let his greeting become mechanical. He doesn't let his tone turn cold or his touch fade into nothing. He keeps investing, even in the smallest gestures, because he knows those small things add up to something much bigger. Think about how powerful it is for a woman to walk into a space and feel that same warmth, that same joy, that same embrace years into the relationship. It tells her she's not just a phase, not just a chapter. She's the story he's still writing every single day, and that reassurance is priceless. It's what keeps the bond strong long after the initial spark. On the flip side, when a man loses that consistency, she feels it instantly. The greetings get shorter. The eye contact fades. The smile is there, but it doesn't carry the same spark. And while he may think it's no big deal, to her it speaks volumes. Because love is communicated most clearly in the ordinary, and when the ordinary stops carrying warmth, the relationship starts to feel empty. But when a man chooses to keep showing up with consistency, it creates security. She doesn't have to wonder where she stands. She doesn't question whether his feelings have shifted. She knows, because his actions keep proving it. That kind of consistency is what makes a relationship unshakable. It's what allows two people to weather the hard seasons, because even when life gets chaotic, the way he greets her reminds her of one steady truth: she is still his choice. And here's what makes it so meaningful. Consistency doesn't mean repetition without feeling. It means showing up with the same love, but letting it deepen over time. The smile might look the same, but now it carries years of shared memories. The hug might feel familiar, but now it carries the weight of loyalty. The tone of voice might still soften, but now it holds gratitude for everything they've built together. Consistency doesn't water love down, it strengthens it, layer by layer. So when you really want to know if a man is truly in love, don't just look at how he greets her at the start. Look at how he greets her after the years, after the routines, after life has thrown its share of challenges. Because true love doesn't just show up at the beginning, it keeps showing up over and over again. That kind of consistency is the loudest proof of love there is,